Hey, Cardinals fans, welcome back to the Redbird Rundown presented by I-70 Sports, your home for all things St. Louis Cardinals. I'm Matt here today with Jonathan, and we would love it if you would share our Spotify and Apple links with your friends. They can be found on Facebook, Blue Sky, and Twitter. Today, we're recapping the past couple series, awarding a player and pitcher for the month of August in the organization, and discussing some very public, very open comments from the organization about Jordan Walker and his development. And then sharing, of course, what we'll be watching heading into this week's slate of games. But before we get into the series recaps and do the rundown, we need to do the vibe check. The Bros were 3-2 since the last time we potted and are currently up, although trying to cough it away after a pretty good sunny gray start. So 3-2 with today's game up in the air. Jonathan, what is your 5 words or less vibe check?
I'm going to steal a Mo-ism, and I'm going to say pitching. I feel like I was doing this. I was looking at the standings, not that I think we're going to try to push to the playoffs, but, we're within like 5 wins in the win column of the New York Mets, who have spent $3 kajillion. And I thought to myself, if we had a little bit better pitching, I know we keep talking about that stat you said the other day about Fetty and Michaelis and Palante. Yeah. I don't know. Like, this team maybe isn't like as bad as you think it is if you have some serviceable starting pitching. So I'm going to go with pitching, because as we go through and recap some of these series, there's a couple starts that were just horrific.
Yes.
What's yours?
Empty red chairs. Busch Stadium and I kind of feel the same about the Cardinals right now. I love this team. I ride or die for this team. I always will. I'll always follow them. It's just in my blood. But right now, I feel like a void on the. It just feels like none of this matters. I know it does. Yeah. And this is probably this honestly is probably a bad year to start this team.
Well,
because if you just take a look at Busch Stadium, that's how my soul kind of feels on the inside. And I don't want to get called a bad fan or anything, but I don't know. I just feel like that's my right as a fan to feel how I want to feel. And I feel like the empty red chairs.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I saw a quick highlight of the Hall of Fame ceremony yesterday with Renteria and those folks. Yeah. And they showed a panning shot of him on the field, and it was like the seats were empty, to your point. And I'm like, oh, this must be the practice. And I'm like, oh, wait. This is the real thing. So, yeah, to your point.
That is kind of sad. That is the first time I thought about that in terms of Hall of Fame weekend. Yeah. I mean, Renteria was a great Cardinal. Mm-hmm. Those guys don't really deserve to have the stink of the team that we have right now get onto their celebration for the weekend. But I don't know, whatever. I guess they're going up on that green wall out there. There'll be good moments, too.
Empty red chairs is a really good one.
Yeah, well...
That's a really good one.
It's my heart. It's the franchise. It's all of it right now.
Yeah, that's where we are, I'm afraid.
So in the last week, we went 2-1 against the A's. Sonny just was struck by the home run rattlesnake and just gave it up. We got a beat down there. Michaelis was good, serviceable, and we just barely squeaked out a win in game 2. Libby has had weird starts recently, but in this one at least, he struck out 7 over 5.1. And we won that game 5-1. So the A's series, I mean, granted, the A's are not horrific like they have been, but the A's aren't great. We were at home. We probably should have gone 2-1 against the A's, but we went 2-1 against the A's. Yeah,
the A's have some dudes.
And they do.
We talked about that. If you look at Nick Kurtz, it's like, what is this guy's slash line? It's like, holy cow.
Yes.
And they kept saying after the games, this A's team is a swing first happy team. And I thought, oh my gosh, Michaelis is going to get him just absolutely pulverized. But that's baseball for you. He throws a pretty good one. But they're an interesting team to watch, pretty fun.
Yes.
Their pitching's not great, but boy, they can hit.
Yes, they sure can. And I was going to say it's great for their fans, but I don't even know where their fans are. If you're in Oakland, I mean, I guess in our area we have something similar to that, in which the St. Louis Rams up and left, or I guess went back to LA. And so I don't have an NFL team, to call my own. So are they in Oakland? Are they in Sacramento? Are there Vegas A's fans? I have no idea.
I like to try to put myself in those shoes. If that happened to the Cardinals, what would you do? Would you follow them? If they moved to LA, would you have done that?
I don't know, because I'm thinking, I'm just live on the pod. I'm thinking it's probably an ownership issue, and I would be mad at those owners for the rest of history. But I don't know that I would hate the team.
I follow in that same.
Like the guys, as far as that goes, I mean, they're not my hometown team anymore. But I think maybe I would just be super mad at the owners and still love the guys.
I think that's what I would do. Yeah, I was a little indifferent on the Rams thing just because I wasn't super close to football,
Sure,
right?
sure,
I
sure.
get why people were super frustrated, but if the car, I think I just ride with him to the end of eternity. I think I'm just like too far deep now.
I don't know. If they move though, we might be able to go like be for fans of an exciting franchise though. That would be
Well, that is true. That is true. That is
it would be
true.
different. Okay, so then the Giants have come rolling into town. And McGreevy, look, I feel like this is what
Mm,
happens every week when we do this. There are
mm.
sometimes we're like, yeah, McGreevy's pretty good. And then there's going to be sometimes we're like, well, McGreevy got smoked and we lost 8-2.
Yep.
Palante was throwing balls all over St. Clair County, Illinois, but was fairly decent. And so we got through on a win on a none
Uh,
other than Jordan Walker walk-off. I mean, it was so Jordan Walker because it essentially was just a missile hit on the ground. And I was like, well, sometimes those are going to find a hole. We won.
yep.
And then, of course, I've mentioned today's game. We are up, but threatening to choke that away. So the Giants series, any
Yep.
takeaways for you
I was just
specifically?
gonna say, McGreevy. We've said this before. He is just like Michaelis reincarnate, a younger
Mm,
Michaelis. Like because
hmm
this is what happened with Michaelis throughout those
hmm
years. When he's good, it's like okay, he's not bad. He's all right. When he's bad, that's why these ERAs are pushing 4 or 5. When they're bad, they give up 8 runs. When they're good, they can be really good. But yeah, he got destroyed. His location was not his friend that start, and they were absolutely polarizing. But I will say this: Rafael Devers hit a home run on a ball you needed your pitching wedge for. I didn't even feel bad for McGreevy on that one. I was like, I don't know how he hit that out.
Well, because that's going to happen sometimes because
Of
these some of these
course.
hitters are just otherworldly.
Yeah.
That's why you have to control the other stuff. And that's it. That's what separates the very best pitchers in the game from
Hmm.
these. Our rotation is just stocked with dudes in the 4s and 5 ERA, and that's it. It's not. It's
Yeah.
just a little bit, and they would be in much better shape.
And Palante's start too. I watched just about all of that. I, this is why they must still stick with him, amongst other reasons. We don't have the depth. Who else is going
Sure.
to come
Yeah.
up?
Yeah.
Is that he'll have a start like this, and you're like, this is what we expect.
Yeah.
Pretty good contact, right? But he hit
Yeah.
it. People hit it right at guys, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So they must be holding on to hope that he can try to turn something around. But man, whenever I'm a Dames, I get hit in the head. The next
Mm.
guy almost gets hit. And Verlander hit Wynn in response, and Wynn
Yeah.
was just kind of laughing about it because he hit him in the butt. That's like a nice place to get hit, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but no, Palante, it's like, man, when he goes out there, you just don't know what you're gonna get.
Does
Yeah.
Verlander not look like an assistant GM now? Like taking questions about why the trade deadline didn't go exactly the way he looks such. I
Yes,
mean, I guess he's like a few years older than me, but he looks
yeah.
so old to me.
So Vic laid down either it was a bunt or a swinging
Yes,
bunt.
I
Did
saw
you see
this.
this one when he
Yeah, yeah,
ran?
yeah,
He had to
yeah.
run, and then I saw the ump. You could read the mouth. He said, "Are you okay?" And Verlander just went, "Holy bleep!" Right at him because that's probably right. He's like, "I was not expecting to do that." Vic's busting down the line.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
agree with
Not
you
good.
there. That is funny.
When I see the probables prop up on my phone and it says Palante, I have a brief moment where I'm like, do I want to watch this or get waterboarded? Because
Yeah,
sometimes I can't really decide,
yeah.
Because sometimes
It's
watching Palante is like being waterboarded. It just is coming from all angles and you can't control it, and there's nothing, it's terrible.
there's absolutely no reprieve.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
I agree.
Exactly. So anyway, I think as far as like it always seems like to me that the Cardinals play really weird and bad against the NL West and the AL West. So, at least this last week, if you're just looking for some entertainment, and I think it's good that you've brought that up before because we are going to get just a paucity of baseball. There's going to be no baseball for 3 or 4 months here. So if
Right.
you love baseball, you're watching these games. I think you'd rather see wins than losses, even though I do think we want the lottery balls. At least we played
Yeah.
decently. There's some
Yeah.
entertainment to these.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're if we pull this out today, we beat both series. We won both.
Yes.
Can't argue with that.
I don't know what has happened to the offense though, because you remember all those
Hmm.
group texts we were sending, like, oh, the attack dogs are out. And they would go games in a row where they were scoring like 11 runs, 7 runs, nine
Yeah.
runs. And they had like, I mean, how many games did they have double digit hits in a row to start the season? Like 20 games or something like that. And some of our guys are injured, but I really
Yeah.
don't know what's happened. It's kind of crazy.
I was thinking about that too, wondering, and I wonder if it's just like this is towards the end of the season and dudes are just tired.
The guys have
Sometimes I
kind of
think
given up.
that, like,
Mm.
we were commenting back and forth about Wynn, and I'm like, I think Wynn on a normal season, like, let's say he's not in the Gold Glove contention, is probably on the IL, probably
Yeah.
with his
Yeah.
knee
With the
stuff.
knee. Yeah.
Now you see Burley go out. Donnie's been out for a while. I was gonna say something about Arenado, but this is actually good, right? Right for him to be out. But to your point. there has been a noticeable drop off in, the attack dogs and always scraping back, and maybe
Yeah,
that's more because there's been more Fermin and
yeah, yeah,
Ertz who struggled. I think that's just part of it towards the end of the season here. They
yeah.
start to, peter out. I don't know.
This is even with Pies turning into Johnny Bench behind the plate for
Oh
batting
my
at least.
gosh.
You know,
That's just I still can't believe
let me
that
tell you
he's done
exactly
that.
what's going to happen. He has hit enough to where now he's in the mix for next year. That's what's happened, I think. Oh,
I
Cardinals.
mean, good, right? Isn't that
It
good
is
if he's
good.
good,
It is.
right?
Yeah,
But it's like,
yeah, yeah. But I'm over it. So,
I know.
I mean, now that we have I can't imagine if you're a listener right now and you're thinking, man, who are these guys going to award their players of the month to in August after we just hyped the team up for 10.5 minutes about how great this is?
There's so
But
many options.
there were shockingly, there were some good performances that we do
Yeah,
need to award and do, deserve some credit. So, Jonathan, let's start on the position
yeah.
player side. Who was your
Okay.
player of the month for August?
Well, I hate to do this, or I like to do this. I'm not sure yet. It's the aforementioned Pedro Pajes. I don't know. I literally. Okay, let me just take you through my thought process here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I looked at the offensive side of the ball. There's a couple of guys you could have given it to. I still think Willie should be up there. He's been our
Mhm.
best hitter. I mean, really for like two
For
and a half
3 years.
months. Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
But I looked at Pajes, and now, granted, this is 63 plate appearances, which is a little bit lower. But if you look at this list and you sort by MLB leaders in WRC plus, he is literally third. He is third in the entire month of August with a 201 WRC plus. That's literally double. That's like two players. Okay,
Correct.
and
Correct.
63 plate appearances, 684 slug. What?
Wow. Wow.
So third in all baseball. He's trailing, I think it was Stanton, and I can't remember the other person. But he's third. So Pedro, for all the licks we've given him all year, that he's attributed some of this to his change in his stance. I think
Yeah.
he's wider now instead of shorter. If
No, he's wide.
yeah, yeah, he is. I can't believe he did this for an entire month. I truly
Yeah.
cannot. From what we have seen the entire time, it feels fitting to give him one of these throughout the year because we have railed on him most of the year.
We
No
have. We
offense
have.
to the guy.
No, no, no.
He's
Of
just
course.
been kind of frustrating to watch at the plate. And then he just goes on a torrid pace the
He
entire
does.
August. So I'm going to have to give it to Pedro Pajes. Who's
He
yours
does.
on the player side?
Well, I was gonna say this about pies. I
Yeah, sure.
also I want to root for Cardinals. I like the Cardinals.
Of
I
course.
think Pedro Pies seems like a good guy to me. I have no issue with this. The only like tinge of this is what I've already said to you earlier, which is now that he's hit, I feel like he's kind of
Yeah.
changed it. Now, if I trusted and thought if this was like, for instance, Nolan Gorman finally turning the corner or Jordan Walker finally turning the corner, and you had like this background, or if Weatherholt comes up and is bad in
Yeah.
April and then
Yeah.
starts, really ripping the ball in May next year. But I don't know that I have any faith in this. Is that you think I'm off there? Although
Oh,
I
no,
think
no.
the batting stance stuff, that change stuff, that is interesting because sometimes guys make an adjustment and it really does change their performance.
No, I think that there's a couple of things here. One, I think guys just go on hot streaks. I think when you go
True.
up there, sometimes the plate it looks like a golf ball, and sometimes it looks like a beach ball. I think that's
Yeah.
just part of it. Now the
Yeah.
stance is real, and that's really like an exciting thing to see someone make a change, and there's like meaningful and impact to that, right?
Yeah.
There's no way he's a 201 WRC plus guy. Like
No,
there's
no,
just
no, no, no.
literally no way.
No.
But could he be more effective at the plate? Yes, he is a good defender, right? All of his
Mm-hmm.
metrics say that he's
Mm-hmm.
a plus defender.
Mm-hmm.
So Pedro Pajes is swinging himself into, I hope, something in the backup range. If this is your backup catcher and he can be a plus WRC guy and he's a good
Yeah.
defensive guy, I don't know what more you're looking for. Because if you look around the league, like Andrew Kisner is on the Giants right now.
Mm-hmm.
His baby was terrible, right? Couldn't pick up a bat to save his life. If
was.
Pajes can do a little bit more, he'll be in the league quite a while. So I'm fine with him being a backup. I've never had an issue with him as
Right.
our backup. So to answer your point in a long-winded way, no way is this sustainable. No way. But I still think that with this change he's made, maybe he can be marginally better and serviceable as a backup.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he probably saw, we just brought up Jimmy Crooks. This catching
Yeah.
train is a runaway freight train in the lower minors that is just charging towards St. Louis. And kudos to him for seeing the writing on the wall. And I think he's kind of fighting for his big league life a little bit here. And
Yeah.
doesn't want to just slip into Andrew Kisner irrelevancy. But as
I agree.
right now, he seems to be pushing off.
Hey, he might be, just real quick before you get to yours.
Yeah,
If he
sure.
keeps performing, there are a lot of teams who want a good defensive catcher who can kind of hit.
Okay.
I'm not saying that we would do it, but like I don't know, you might be swinging yourself into like some value for somebody.
Pies to Rutch for Rutschman straight up is
I
what
mean,
you're
who
saying.
says no is what I say. But you never know, right? Like there's a
You know,
lot you
you're right.
said. You look at a lot of catchers, a lot of dudes can't do what he's doing right
You're
now.
right. I mean, if he replicates this again in September, then you know that's a pretty long sample size of success for him. So
Yeah, I agree.
we'll see. Okay, well, speaking of the catchers, I've done this twice this year. I'm just going to cheat again. And my
Ah,
player of the month is not in the major leagues. He's not
hmm
on the 40-man roster. He is in now high A, and his name is Ranael Rodriguez. And I don't know if
Yep.
this fits the bill, but listen, the guy hit in August 293, 420 on base, 598 slug for a cool 1,018 OPS,
Mm,
7 home runs, and he plays his home game at Roger Dean Stadium. That is just famously a horrific place for power. So he's hitting home runs there.
yep.
14 walks, 16 strikeouts. So he's walking almost as much as he's striking out. So there is plate discipline. There's high
Mm.
OBP. There is power, and there is. You're already making sounds. I hate to see what sound you're going to
I
make
was gonna
here.
say
I saw a quote from a scout that said, "This is the best 18-year-old hitter as an 18-year-old I have ever seen in my life."
I can't handle. Please stop. Please stop.
Oh, it's
Please,
fantastic.
please stop. I can't believe this guy. I can't believe we have something like this right now, just stewing down there.
Stewing is exactly right. So they not only has they do that in low
Yeah,
A in August, they've brought him up, and the high A season I think ends next week. So it's going to be a very quick cup of
yeah.
coffee. And he's had a couple games in high A that he's had some offers, but the first game in high A, he came up, got 3 hits, and had 4 RBIs, and it was just like, well, okay, keep it going. He's not going to turn 19 until January. And so it's not only these numbers would be good no
Yeah.
matter who the prospect is. This kid is like just would have graduated high school and is now doing this stuff and going on these tears, and that is crazy for pro ball.
It's unprecedented, and this is something that should put everyone's mind in perspective. Juan Soto made his major league debut at 19,
That's a great point.
which is just crazier and crazier the more you think about it, right? Which is why he went into his free agency at 25. Now, do
Yes.
I think Ranael is going to do that? I mean, that I would absolutely love that. But when you see some power down there in Palm Beach, whatever for whatever reason, it's notoriously hard to hit there. It seems like it would be the opposite. It's hot, it's humid. You'd think that the
Right.
balls would fly, but apparently Peoria is an easier way to hit home runs. I don't know why that is the way it is, but him showing you this and those scouts saying that and that list, I think you sent it in our chat.
I did.
My God, it's like Julio. I forget who was on there. Julio
It was
was
like
Julio on there?
minor leaguers at
Yeah,
the age of 18 with a WRC plus of 150, and it was like Stanton,
yeah. Oh,
Trout,
Freeman, he was on there.
Freeman,
Yeah,
Soto. Yeah, just and then you're just like, oh man,
yeah. I
even
mean,
the worst
manifesting
name
it.
on that
Yeah.
list is a multiple time All-Star. So, not saying that he is just a pure lock
hmm
and put him in a red jacket now, but boy, oh boy, these are good. These are good metrics.
Well, and if he hits a wall at some point, which I mean, he's 18 years old, going to be
Yeah.
19. Listen, he's going to be in double A or A, right? High A at 19. That is beating that age curve by 16 miles.
Yes.
So he is nothing but hype, hype, hype. We're going to hear more about him for many, many, many years to come, I'm sure.
So a lot of times players with the last name Rodriguez, they'll take a
Uh-huh.
piece of their first name and then they'll do the Rod, A Rod, J Rod, all those guys.
Mm.
Are we going R Rod with him? Is he Rye Rod?
Rainrod?
NIL? Ray Rod? I don't know.
Rayrod.
Rye
I just feel
Rod,
like the
R
name
Rod.
Ranael is sick.
It is sick. Maybe that's just
Maybe
him.
that's just his name, you know?
Yeah. He's like Cher or just one of
Yeah.
these one name people. You
The
know?
one name guy. Yes, I
Cher and
think you're right.
Ronale. Can you just imagine them on the stage singing together?
Oh,
I'm
please.
only going to say one last note about him. I
Yeah.
wrote down all those stats and those quotes, and then
Mhm.
I just drew myself a just completely horrific face with heart eyes and a smiley face just right next to it. So if you're on
Yep.
YouTube, I don't know if you want to just pause that and zoom in. That's how
Oh
I felt.
yeah.
I do not feel like an empty red chair when I talk about him. I think by the time I was just gonna make a prediction here. I think by the time he gets to where JJ Weatherholt is now, I think he will be a bigger deal prospect than JJ Weatherholt is.
I can only pray. And if they don't think that he can be a catcher and he keeps hitting like this, by God, please don't make him a catcher.
Just switch his position right now. It's okay. It
Yeah.
really is.
If he is 18, 19 years old and he's raking through the minor leagues, then make the guy the DH. It doesn't matter. Like he has got he if he's just gonna continue to hit, Sure, put him at first base. There's other positions, but don't be
Well,
like,
if
well,
he's your catcher, he's not going to play. He can't play 120 games. Like you're just
yeah,
missing his bat. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So please let's learn our mistake from Ivan, who probably
Yes.
should not have been a catcher in the minor leagues as long as he
Correct.
was.
Yeah. All right. Give us your pitcher of the month.
He was just in. It's Matt Swanson. I'm going to stick to another major leaguer here. In August, 17 innings pitched, 12.23 Ks per nine. Love to see that.
Love that.
.51 ERA. Okay. His stuff plus, which is again the velocity, the movement, the kind of the execution of the pitch, was 112 for that entire month, which is 32nd in all of baseball. And you probably think 32nd. That's out of qualified relievers. There's a ton of those.
Yes.
Right. So
Yes.
this is an awesome development throughout this season that he has become one of these new like back end guys you trust. I mean, we got him from the Blue Jays from Jordan Hicks, who Jordan Hicks is just like, wandering through the ether of life now. They've put him on the IL, the Red Sox. He's doing nothing.
Yeah.
This is another really nice trade from Mo, if you think back on that we kind of lost hope in Hicks, and it seems like now two other teams have done that.
Mm-hmm.
And Swanson's a legitimate piece. He's come up, and he looks really nice. And he's been doing these multi-inning outings, too, which I hope we'll eventually talk about this, but maybe the bullpen's not the end-all, be-all for him.
I think that's entirely possible. He's got enough pitches where they may be able to stretch him out. And look, we will talk about this in the offseason nonstop, I'm sure. Just go ahead and take a peek at the pitching rotation in 2026 for the Cardinals. There's spots available.
Oh yeah.
There are spots available.
Oh yeah, so it's a little holy over there. Yeah.
Swanson could definitely be part of that.
Yes.
Well, I also expected Andy to be on this podcast, and shouts to him for just doing his half marathon training or whatever he's out there doing in the ether.
You never know.
Jordan Hicks. Yeah. And so I thought we'd have at least two major leaguers. I also picked a minor leaguer for this. So
I love this.
The listeners can just boot me if you want to. I chose Quinn Matthews as my pitcher of the month for August. He got back on the horse. 31.2 innings pitched, 41 Ks, well over a K per inning, 2.27 ERA. The velocity's back up. He's running in the mid-90s with his velocity now. That slider's nasty. The changeup is disgusting. And so this is what you want to see because, to me, he's our most major league ready on the cusp he could be in our rotation. Oh, yeah. And it was kind of a bummer to me that you were like, oh, he's hurt in April. He's got this shoulder, scares the crap out of me with pitchers.
Yes.
And so then he comes back and his velocity's down. He was struggling. He definitely still has like some command. He still walks some guys, but that strikeout punch is real. And that's one of the differences between, Palante walks two guys, and it's going to take a miraculous, series of events for him to get out without any of those runs scoring. I mean, Matthews could just strike out the side.
I totally agree. I love this one. I'm glad you've brought up some minor league guys. Maybe we should do that going forward. At least highlight somebody in the minor leagues for one of these categories because Quinn Matthews should be in the rotation going forward next year. He should. I don't know that there's anything else he's going to prove in AAA. And I've said this before, but the automatic balls and strikes has caused walk rates in the minor leagues to go up. They have, and now it's not to the degree in which he is suffering from it. He's had games where he walks like six guys. Yes. I don't know why that's happening. There's not enough data, at least that I can find, that would prove, drive to why this is happening. But he has strikeout stuff. And sometimes with strikeout stuff, you're aiming for chase. And if they don't chase and then they can also challenge that pitch, it does make it harder. So I do believe Quinn will be successful in the major leagues. I don't see why it wouldn't. If you have K per nine, if you can strike out guys, he's going to come up and he's going to be successful. Like I said, I don't believe that falls off. I really don't. I think that stays.
It'll be interesting to me with him specifically if we put him through the Arizona Fall League paces just as a way to continue to build innings with him because he has missed out on some innings. But I fully expect that we'll hear reports that, he's in spring training with a chance to win the job. And that I think that's where he's headed for next year.
I do too, which is super exciting. He was not like a super highly touted draft pick. He was kind of one of these. He just blew up last year. He went through every version of the minor leagues last year. Got to AAA. He's kind of hit this ceiling a little bit with his walk rate stuff. So I'm excited to see him next year. I pray we do see him. I hope it's not like this. He's not ready yet. Because I have to. Yeah. Like what else has he got to prove?
Yeah, I did see this too, and then we'll move on to Jordan Walker conversation. Yeah. The year before we drafted him in the 4th round from Stanford, the Rays drafted him in the 19th round, and he did not go to the Rays. He went back to school
That makes me
and
feel
raised
good.
his profile. Yeah, but if the Rays wanted him, I'm like, great. Check that
There's a
box.
couple of franchises across the four major
Yes.
sports. Major
Yeah.
League Baseball,
The
the Rays
Spurs
is
and the
one of them. Yeah.
NBA. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So
That makes
so
me feel good. I didn't know that.
yeah.
That's an
Yeah.
interesting
I didn't
tidbit.
know that either until I was just on his baseball reference page and I was like, a little bonus there. So I like
Yeah.
that.
Thanks, Rays.
Okay, so this I feel like does not happen a whole lot, and it's so funny that Andy's not in this episode because he's been the one that's raised this question before of how truthful do we think these
Yeah.
managers are, or that like the hitting coach, how truthful are they about their
Yeah.
players? And I listened to a podcast that Bernie Miklasz talked about this interview that they did with Ollie and Brant Brown. And, Bernie was really praising Ollie. I guess Ollie is the one that reached out to KMOX and said he wanted to give these Tuesday interviews because he wants a space to talk. He wants the fans to be able to hear what he has to say. So I think that
Mm,
that's a good idea. I think that is commendable. And I think he gets on
absolutely.
there and he actually says stuff. And boy, did they say stuff about Jordan Walker.
Oh
So
man.
I'll just give you a couple quotes
Yeah,
here and
sure.
set it up, and I'll let you take us where you
Okay.
want us to go
Okay, okay.
first. So these are two quotes from Brant Brown, and he said this: "At the end of the day, I understand that the only thing I can do as a coach is educate them, try to teach them, and hopefully at some point they'll listen."
Oh my
Which
gosh.
sounds like something you might say about your 5-year-old entering kindergarten,
Yeah.
and not
Oh my,
not your 23-year-old Uber prospect who is in
oh my
the major
gosh.
leagues. And then this is an Ollie quote. At some point in time, he's going to have to devote kind of more focus on preparation. Okay. So, Jonathan, with
Ah,
that openness,
jeez.
I have several thoughts, but why don't
Yeah,
you go
same.
first and take us on a
Mhm.
thought train here?
Well, first thing, I hope old Jaywalk had his bulletproof vest on
Whew,
because he just got slaughtered in that.
he did.
And the first my initial thought was, why are they doing this right now? Why? Like
Yeah.
why, he's
Yeah.
been bad for 2 years. He's been, really bad and slumping lately, but I don't know that I can remember a time when the Cardinals have done something like this. Ollie has done something like this
Just elbow dropped a player.
from the top rope, right?
Yes.
And it's like the only weird confrontation that I remember is, do you remember a couple years ago when Tyler O'Neill didn't like hustle down to first
Yes.
base and
Yes.
Ollie like took him out and there was like this weird, but that was like I don't know, like a player issue that happened during the game and there was some
Hmm.
frustration. This was like a calculated hit piece coming out to be like, hey, just so you guys know, we're doing everything that we can here for him. At some point, he's got to do it himself. So that was my first thought is why on earth did they do this now? Is that where your mind went initially on this?
Yeah. To me, and I may just be wrong about this, but the way that I took those comments was there is a level of frustration here
Yeah.
that they have tried repeatedly over and over and over again. And as far as I can tell, he'll make an adjustment. And then once he makes that adjustment and he starts having some bad results, he will default back to what he's comfortable with. And I
Yeah.
think just first of all, on a human level, I think that's pretty understandable.
Oh,
The
sure.
guy has been incredible at sports his whole life. And so I understand where Jordan Walker's at. But I just wonder if this was like the coaching staff is like, okay, we've tried this, we've tried this, we've tried this. Let's just try the old public lever and see if we can get him to dislodge him and make these changes.
Well, and in that first thought was, is this the last form of motivation they wanted to pull out?
Right.
Is this like the break glass in case of
Oh,
emergency? We've tried everything internally. He, like you said, maybe he reverts back to this stuff. Let's cook him in the books, in the media here. Let's cook him out here. Now, and when I say cook him, like everything they said was truthful. They did not say like they didn't dog his character. I mean, you
no,
kind
no,
of
no,
read
no.
between the lines that maybe his work ethic was being challenged a bit here, which
Yeah.
is kind of troubling and worrisome. But
It's
to say the
extremely
absolute
frustrating.
least, but yeah, I found that extremely interesting as they were doing it now. But I also think whenever you had mentioned at the top that Ollie wants to go on these like the Gas House Gang, the
Yeah.
KMOX
Yep.
stuff,
Uh-huh.
and
Mhm.
be transparent. I don't know. I know he's been going on this the entire year, but I wonder if this is a new era of transparency that Heim is going to
Mm.
continue on, and maybe that's coming from him because Mo has always been extremely cryptic
He has.
to the malaise of everybody who's ever been a fan. Everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, here we go." He's going to say something that doesn't literally mean anything,
Mo
right?
needs to get in a presidential debate because
Oh,
you could not pin the guy down on anything. It'd be unreal.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. So maybe at and whenever they're in the background meeting on these things, what are the frustrations from the fans? Transparency. Well, Ali going on there and saying, "Hey, we've done all these things for Jordan, but he's just got to basically pick it up," is
Hmm.
up to him. I like that. I hope that
I
we
do
see
too.
more of this going forward because I think you're going to grow patience from fans to understand what's happening, and I think that everybody likes that. Who likes to be lied to, or who likes to have the
No, all right.
cover
Just tell
pulled
us.
over them? Yeah, just tell
Yeah.
us what's going on.
I mean,
I just, yeah.
I feel like I can see it.
Oh, sure.
With Walker, you can see these times. I mean, he clearly makes a change with his batting stance, and that's
Yes.
very obvious.
Yes.
But if you watch this team enough, you'll see him go through periods of swinging at the right pitches and
Yep.
taking the right pitches, and
Yep.
then you'll go through periods where he is. Do you remember? When's the last time you've seen Moneyball, the movie, like with Brad Pitt and about
It's
the
been
A's?
it's been a while, but I see memes about it like all over,
Sure.
you know.
So there's this one scene where I think he's talking to the guy playing Eric Chavez, who is the third baseman for the A's, and he's swinging at bad pitches, and the Brad Pitt character goes, "Chavi, you can't hit that with a boat paddle." And so then like
It's
you'll
true.
have this run of games where you'll just have
Yeah.
boat paddle Jordan Walker, and you're
Yeah.
like, "What happened?" Nolan Gorman strikes me as kind of similar to this
A little
sometimes,
bit. A little bit.
right? But the natural talent isn't there the way that it is with Walker. And so this just kind of leaves me thinking maybe this is not fair. Is Jordan Walker kind of a head case? Like, I wonder if behind the scenes is
Yeah.
he difficult? Which I did not pick up from those comments, but I don't know
No.
that they would say that about him. Like, oh, this guy, he's just so hard to deal with. I don't know if they'd say that, but like, I mean, it, I just don't understand. I don't understand how you can be
Yeah.
Jordan Walker and how you can have one of the worst WRC pluses in
Yeah.
the whole league this
Yeah.
year. He is legitimately one of the worst hitters in baseball,
Yep.
and how you can't like see this instruction and want to do it. I just don't understand.
Well, I mean, that's the next point I was going to make, and you're flirting with it. Is like the preparation or lack of preparation is extremely alarming that they're
It
talking
is.
about. Like it's absolutely bananas, and it has really opened my eyes to, have you ever thought that like Jeff Albert, these other guys that have been fired?
Yeah,
Yes, I think there's a degree of blame in the blame pie. But, I'm starting to think that there's a larger slice of that goes on the players.
of course.
And you just don't think about that as that. You think my default is that these guys always want to be better. Everybody.
Yes.
Any
Yes.
quote you hear from anybody's like, "Oh, he's in the cage early, he's doing this early, he's doing that." This is the first time I've ever seen someone, let alone in the Cardinals, call somebody out and like, "You're not prepared. You're selling out on fastballs. You're not literally taking the time and all this resource we're giving you to just read who the possible relief pitchers are that are coming in." Like that stuff
Mm.
is mind blowing to me. Like you clearly are struggling. Clearly, it's not like you have been mashing the ball and you're going through a little slump. You've been bad for like a while, and they're telling you, "Hey, for you to come out of this slump, these are the things you need to do." And then him not doing it is it is truly mind blowing because when people, and I don't know how you feel about this in your own personal life or in your career, but when people like they think highly of themselves, they feel like they have a lot of talent, but the results are not there. That is an extremely tough situation to be a part of.
It is a very tough situation. Yes.
And I feel like there's a degree of that where it's like they don't know what else to do with him. Here's the problem. You need to fix it. But he's like, "Well, listen, you've heard this many times. I've gotten here. I'm going to trust what's gotten me here."
Yes.
That clearly is not working. So this is the only thing that's going to change that. I'm going to say this a million times, but I couldn't believe any of this.
I know it.
Couldn't believe any of
Hilarious that he had the walk-off hit last night, though, because, like, of course, just
Baseball.
really funny. Yeah, exactly.
Baseball.
That
Yep.
that comment that Brant Brown made about him essentially not doing any film study on the relievers, and so then he's just surprised by what
Crazy.
that is devastating. And so I got to tell you, I have been a huge Jordan Walker defender because of the natural talent, and
Yep.
I've said it about 14 times this year. Those scud missiles off the center field fence, they're things of beauty. You can't teach the exit velocity. He is huge, right?
Yep.
He has a prospect pedigree, all that kind of stuff. But my frustration level with Jordan Walker is so much higher than it was a week ago
Yep.
because I now feel like he's not doing the work that obviously, because this was unsaid, but it's clear that the rest of the guys on the team are doing the work that Jordan Walker is not doing. And so I find that to be like almost unforgivable. You have been given
Yeah.
all this natural talent and ability, and an organization that just keeps running you out there when you are terrible for hugely long stretches, and now you're not going to do basically your homework to get well, then you should. I mean, like if you were in
Yeah.
my high school class, you
Yes.
didn't do your homework and you failed. I'm sorry. I don't really
Yeah.
feel bad for those kids because you had everything you had right at your
Well,
feet.
and doesn't it make you feel like it would be like someone in your class being like, well, I didn't have to study for tests in sixth grade.
Well,
Okay.
congratulations.
Now you're
Yeah.
in high school. It's a different level of difficulty.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Here's the thing, though. The other knee-jerk reaction was, wow, I think I've been too harsh on Ollie throughout this whole thing. I think I
Okay.
have because I said this like 2 weeks ago. It irritated
Okay.
me so much whenever he's like, well, we're gonna play guys who have earned the right to play. We're gonna reward the guys who have taken the step, and I just viewed
Mm,
that as like, come on, man, like Walker's got to have time to prove this. I
mm.
actually understand what he's coming from. If you are behind the scenes and you see this day in and day out, somebody who just shows up, takes a couple hacks, doesn't really do it, and
Yeah,
let's say
you're right.
Burley, I don't know, as an example, he's always grinding the tape, he's out there in the cage, he's doing the stuff he's supposed to do. I understand why Ollie was not rewarding that type of behavior. I did not think about that. And this new information has helped me kind of recalibrate how I feel that I think Ollie and co have handled this kind of extremely well. And they have given this dude a super long leash. And
They
for
have.
him to not prepare and do these things, that has got to drive you absolutely insane. And I think it's probably got to be a tedious relationship between himself and his teammates.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
Burley, I don't know, I'm
Yeah.
just saying Burley, if you're someone who's pinched, your playing time is pinched, and you clearly tell they're not putting the time in,
Sure.
that is, ooh, that's
Boot
gotta hurt.
bar, Vic. Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. I think so. I don't know if you caught this part of the Brant Brown interview,
Hmm.
but he was also talking about Bernie asked him a question, why do your hitters struggle so bad against high velocity
I
fastballs?
loved this.
Okay, so you did see this. So
I
Brant Brown
loved
was
it.
talking about they go in the cage, which is I guess like back down the tunnel towards the clubhouse,
Yeah.
and they're not cranking the speed up on that hitting machine, on that pitching machine, because in his words, some of the guys like the feeling of just roping line drives in that cage to get themselves ready, and then when they come into the game, they're facing
Yeah.
much higher velocity stuff, and they're not ready for it. That is so interesting to me, because why are you not practicing at game speed?
I I found that like, I mean, our buddy Brant was just defending himself left and right. He was saying like, here's the truth. Now,
Here's what I'm doing. Yeah.
here's what I'm doing. Now we don't know the player's side of things, which is also tough in this,
That's
right?
true.
You
That's
don't
true.
know what they're going through, so it's hard to make a full assessment of this if you don't know both sides of the story. But the person I felt like he was talking about in this was Mason Wynn, and I feel like every time I watch him on fastballs, he is late on stuff. I'm sure there's a
Mm,
plenty of people, but whenever he said that, I wondered like, man, Wynn is always late on stuff. And
mm.
that is so fascinating that it's like, why would you not? I'd be on that cage hitting on 105. Like what?
Yeah,
Like it's
exactly.
only going to be
Exactly.
easier if you see like 98 and you're like, oh God, this is like a changeup.
Exactly.
You
It's
know?
kind of the same principle as that weighted donut bat that they swing. And then when you get your actual bat, it's lighter. It's kind of the
Absolutely.
same sort of, yeah. Yeah. This whole thing, I think if we had more of this, if we had
Oh
more of a
man.
real window into what is happening, I think that our experience as fans would just be revolutionized because we
Yes.
would understand so much more. And yet, I guess I understand why they do it. I think they do it a lot to just protect these guys,
Protect.
and they
Yeah.
don't want this out there. But boy, oh boy, that's the other thing I was thinking is, man, if they tell us this kind of stuff all the time, I would love that so much.
Yeah, you'd
Because you're
understand.
right. When Ollie's like, yeah, we're giving the playing time to the guys who prep. Well, now we know who doesn't prep.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I mean, just this the whole like not preparing yourself to the level in which you're supposed to. This is where I think there's some of that veteran presence that comes in when there's
Mm,
people who have done this before. Because I think what Brant and Ollie are saying in this are there's only so much that we can do.
true,
There's only so much we can do. And I
true.
feel like this is where Arenado, I know he's been hurt. This is one of his fatal flaws in his
Mm,
character is that he's not going to go up to somebody and be like, "Yo, buddy, what are you hitting on right now?" I'm hitting 93. You need to dial that up, dude. Like this is the MLB. We don't do that down here. There's a level of that I feel like maybe is
mm,
missing. Now,
mm.
I don't think you have to bring in the old wily vet. I feel like they should learn this, right? This
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
feel
yeah,
like a complex thing to understand.
yeah.
But again, I'm sitting in my chair. I'm not hitting
Sure,
them.
sure, sure,
Right.
sure.
So like I want to, temper and pump the brakes maybe a little bit, but I did think of that too, that
This
if
is where
there's a
you're missing
veteran.
the Pujols to walk by, just wander by the cage and be like, change what you're doing here. They probably would
Yeah.
listen to Pujols. Yeah.
Or like I think like somebody like Lance Berkman, he came
Yeah.
in. It's like
Sure.
if Berkman comes by and he sees you doing that, or like let's say he's hitting 98 off the cage. It's like, what are you going to go in there and hit 93? Like you're probably going to do what these other guys are doing.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Just this whole thing was fascinating.
Oh man.
Let's put a bow on this conversation about
Yes.
Walker like this. What do you want to see? Now, we've only got like 3 weeks left here in the
Yeah.
season. What do you want to see from him in these last 3 weeks? Is there
Mhm.
anything he could do to make you feel better about
Yeah.
him going forward?
Yes, yes. So there's a correlation that I have in my own life where I think it's really relevant to Walker. Whenever I was in college, down in community college, I was playing golf. We were playing golf quite a bit,
Hmm.
and you could get a quarter, pop it in the machine, and you could just drive balls. Okay, and they give you a bucket of balls for literally a quarter. Okay, I was struggling with my drive at this time, slicing the ball really bad. I mean, so much so that you're like angling yourself towards the parking lot to even get it in the fairway,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, not
I went
good.
down there and I remember getting $10 worth of quarters, and over the span of a couple weeks, I just literally hit balls in between my breaks and my classes drives. And I figured out how to hit a drive straight repeatedly, and I can still do it to this day because of what I did in those moments down there by myself, just beating the crap out of drives at this college campus. So when I was thinking about that story, I thought Walker just needs to find something he's comfortable with that is signed off on by Brownie or the minor league
Yes,
hitting
yes,
coordinator or somebody
yes.
that's like, you should repeatedly do this and you will see success. He needs to just do that to the end of the year. And then going forward, do it in the off season, like I
Right.
was down there, just pepper in drives. And then this is the part I was curious what you would think. I think that Walker, I think it would be a good idea if he starts the year in AAA and continues to prove it.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
I've seen some chatter about this online, and I know it's like, well, the team's not going to go anywhere next year. Well, here's the thing. There could be other guys that could come up that could prove that they could hit at a major league level while Walker retools this. Let's say it's the first half. Let's say it's the first 3 months. He should be doing damage to AAA pitching if he has a tighter approach, if he has a
Mm.
comfortable swing thing, something that he's more, he's just ready to do. And then let's say it's May, June, July. Okay, Jordan, you've taken 250 appearances down there, 250 plate appearances. You look good. You look like you're ready to come back up here and to do this, because if we see him do this another 3, 4, 5 months next year and he's not good, I don't know what you do. So AAA is a lower level
Mm.
of visual pressure. You get an off season to work on an approach. You practice it. You put it into AAA approach, and then maybe when you're ready, you come back up. Is that too far?
I don't think from your preparation and mechanics thing that's too far. I don't know what that would do to the human that is Jordan Walker, because we've already jerked this guy around 3 or 4 times. I feel like
Yeah, yeah,
I feel like we have done to him what we did to a much less talented prospect in Zach Thompson, which is like, hey,
yeah,
starter, bullpen, Memphis, St. Louis. Actually, just kidding. Never mind.
yeah.
So I that's what I'm going to say about that. I think preparation wise, I think that makes a ton of sense. Human being wise, you could convince me, but I don't know what the interactions are like behind the scenes. So for me,
Yeah,
I'll,
that's a good
I'll
point.
just limit my answer here to the rest of this season. The only thing I'm going to be looking for at Jordan Walker is just approach, and that's it. I'm not going to worry about his results. I'm not going to look at his results. I'm not going to look at an exit velocity. That's probably a lie, because if he hits another Scud missile, I'll just want to see the 115, But that's the only thing I care about with him. And if he hits 150 for the rest of the year, but the approach is right, then I'll feel better about that. But I think next year is is the year his plot armor could come off. If
Well,
he
yeah,
does this again next year, then maybe this organization is not
yeah,
going to be the one that figures him out. And that also, to me, will be a failure of John Mozeliak and his crew in
yes,
bringing
yes,
Walker up. And maybe if we have Walker now and we draft him now and he's with these new guys, so have we
he's better
ruined this
off. Yeah,
supreme talent because we've treated it the wrong way coming up?
yeah. And last point I'll make on this is I'm
Sure.
looking at his profile. I have been this week a little bit, just like throughout his minor league career, and he's never really hit AAA all that well.
Mm.
He never has. He's never been there long enough to do it. I mean, in 2023 and 2024, he was a sub 90 and 95 WRC plus. He was 89 and 94. Now
Okay.
that's okay. That's serviceable. He's never done it there. The
Mm.
only point I was trying to make was if you have this repeatable just approach you want to put
Yeah,
forward,
sure.
then why not try it down there just so you can be like, now I know I'm ready to come back up here and do this. I'm just afraid with all these eyeballs on him again, and he comes up here and he reverts back to it. It might be it for him next year. To your point, the armor I think is totally gone. So that's going to be at the top of my list for the offseason. What is Heim going to do about this? And what's the approach going forward?
I have many, many, many more doubts about Jordan Walker now than I did a week ago. And
Oh.
unfortunately, he is the genesis of all of those doubts.
He is. And that is, I appreciate Ollie, Brownie, the Cardinals for doing this and for showing us, ripping back the curtain a little bit and letting us see, what it is that he's struggling with and how he's doing it. That is, I really, really appreciated that because I did not expect to see this at all.
Yeah, we have a lot more information now than we did.
Yes.
So this coming week, we go to to play the Mariners in the just absolutely beautiful confines of T-Mobile Park.
Yep.
And then unfortunately, we have to scrape the skies of Milwaukee and go play the Brewers, which at that point, I'm sure Fetty will be in the rotation and will just destroy us. If Eric Fetty destroys us in Milwaukee, I'm going to have to not watch baseball for the rest of the year because that'll be ridiculous.
Yeah, I think we have the playbook on Fetty.
Oh, they'll do something, though. That's why the Brewers are too smart. They'll change his pitch.
He'll be a lefty.
If anybody can fix him, yes. Yeah, the Brewers will be the ones to do it. So, Mariners and Brewers, 6 games on the road. Jonathan, what are you looking for in this next week?
The only thing I'm looking for in the Mariners series is the beautiful shots of the stadium in the downtown. That's it. That's all I care about. They're an exciting team. Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, they're knocking on the door of the playoffs. They're a better team than we are. Their pitching's insane. Beautiful city, beautiful stadium. I'm really excited for the fellas to visit Seattle. So that's my Seattle watch, right? The Mariners watch. And then I believe I am going to one of these games in the Brewers.
Okay.
I will be in that area for some travel, and I hope it's Fetty now. That would be hilarious. So I know you had a glowing review of that wonderful park up there, so I'll have to see if I feel the same way.
I think I just could not take the Cardinals fan out of myself when I was in that park, and I was like, God, I hate these people so much. I sports hate these people so much.
Absolutely. I think this is the first time I'll ever cheer the Cardinals on in an away game. Have you ever seen them in an away game?
I have not. I've been to a bunch of stadiums, but I've never seen the Cardinals.
That's what I was thinking too. I don't think I've ever done it. I didn't think you'd ever done it. So
I wear Cardinals gear to everything that I go to, but most of the time, because it's not the Cardinals, people just look at me like, what is this?
Why are you here?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now it's like, oh my gosh, I'll see people.
Exactly. Your vibe check at the beginning was pitching. So all I'm looking for in these next 6 games are Jordan Walker. Are you doing the prep? Yeah. What's your approach? What are you doing, buddy? Because that plot armor is just peeling off before my eyeballs. And I'm not real happy about it. I'm like a disappointed parent right now. I protected you, I loved you, and I wanted you to succeed. And now you're not doing what this organization is trying to get you to do. So,
that's a good
Jordan Walker, let's do it. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Redbird Rundown. Your go-to source for all things St. Louis Cardinals. Subscribe, rate, and review the show to help us grow. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Blue Sky for the latest news. Keep your rally caps on. Jordan Walker, prepare, and let's go Cards.